December 24th, 11:47 p.m. The last bus had already gone, and DeShawn Carter knew it. But he stood at the Highland Avenue stop anyway, his 5-year-old twins, Marcus and Maya, sleeping against his shoulders, their small bodies heavy with the weight of exhausted children who'd spent Christmas Eve at the community center's free dinner. The cold bit through his work jacket, the kind of bitter December cold that seemed to seep straight into your bones. His breath came out in white clouds that disappeared into the darkness. In his pocket he had $23 and a bus schedule that mocked him with routes that had stopped running an hour ago. The walk home was 4 miles through neighborhoods that got rougher after midnight. Doable for him alone, impossible with 2 sleeping children. DeShawn Carter was 34 years old, 6 feet tall with broad shoulders that came from years of physical labor. His dark brown skin showed the stress of 5 years of single fatherhood, lines around his eyes that hadn't been there before, a permanent tension in his jaw. He worked night security at Mercy General Hospital, $16.50 an hour, 40 hours a week when he was lucky enough to get full-time shifts. The twins, Marcus and Maya, were his entire world. 5 years old, beautiful brown-skinned children with their mother's smile and his determination. Their mama, Maria, had been a nurse at Mercy. She'd died the day they were born, a brain aneurysm that came without warning, without mercy, without goodbye. One moment she was in labor, laughing through contractions, telling him she couldn't wait to meet their babies. The next, the monitors were screaming and doctors were running and DeShawn was being pushed out of the room. By the time they let him back in, Maria was gone and he was a father to 2 tiny, premature babies who needed him more than he knew how to handle. 5 years later, he was still figuring it out. Tonight had been about giving the twins a Christmas they'd remember. The community center had put on a dinner with donated food, a visit from Santa, small presents for the kids. Marcus and Maya had been thrilled with their gifts, coloring books and crayons, stuffed animals, candy canes. DeShawn had watched them laugh and play with other children, and for a few hours, he'd felt like maybe he was doing okay as a father. Then he'd missed the last bus. The twins stirred against his shoulders, Maya's braided hair tickling his neck, Marcus's small hand clutching his jacket. He'd have to wake them soon, start the long walk home. But he gave them these last few minutes of sleep, standing in the cold at a bus stop, trying to figure out the best route home. That was when he saw her. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. At first, she was just a shape in the corner of the bus shelter, a dark form slumped against the plexiglass wall. DeShawn's first thought was homeless person seeking shelter. His second thought was drunk or high, passed out. But something about the stillness made him look closer. She was a black woman, probably mid-30s, wearing an expensive-looking wool coat that was torn at the shoulder and dirty with road grime. Her legs were positioned at an unnatural angle, bent wrong. About 5 feet away, a wheelchair lay on its side in the snow, one wheel still slowly spinning. DeShawn's heart kicked hard against his ribs. He moved closer, careful not to wake the twins. "Miss? You okay?" No response. Her eyes were open, staring straight ahead, but she didn't move, didn't blink, didn't acknowledge him at all. He knelt down in the snow, getting closer. That's when he saw it. Her eyes moved. Just her eyes, tracking him as he approached. Everything else about her was perfectly still, but her eyes were alive, conscious, aware. And terrified. "Can you talk?" DeShawn asked softly. Nothing. No movement except those eyes, moving frantically now, trying to communicate something. His mind raced back to his Navy medic training, a lifetime ago before the twins, before Maria, when he'd been a young man with a future that seemed full of possibilities. He'd seen stroke victims during his service, people whose bodies had betrayed them, leaving them locked inside. 2 blinks for yes, 1 for no, he said, remembering the protocol. "Can you understand me?" 2 deliberate blinks. "Are you hurt? Bleeding?" 1 blink. "Did someone leave you here?" Her eyes filled with tears. 2 slow, deliberate blinks. DeShawn felt rage flash hot through his chest, burning away the cold. Someone had left this woman here. Abandoned her at a bus stop on Christmas Eve like she was nothing. like she was trash to be discarded. I'm going to help you, okay? My name is DeShawn. I've got my kids with me, they're sleeping right now, but I'm going to get you somewhere safe. I promise. 2 blinks. Relief flooded her eyes, tears spilling over, freezing on her cheeks. Can you move at all? Fingers, toes, anything? 1 blink. Complete paralysis except for her eyes. DeShawn had seen it once before, locked-in syndrome, they called it. A person fully conscious, fully aware, trapped in a body that wouldn't respond. It was a nightmare made real, and this woman was living it. There's a purse over there in the snow, he said, spotting a designer handbag near the overturned wheelchair. Is that yours? 2 blinks. I'm going to check it, see if there's ID, medical information. Okay. 2 blinks. DeShawn carefully extracted himself from the twins, propping them against the bus shelter wall where they continued sleeping. He retrieved the purse, opened it with hands that shook from cold and adrenaline. Inside, he found a wallet, several prescription bottles, and a laminated card. He pulled out the card, tilting it to catch the streetlight. Communication card name: Dr. Simone Thatcher condition, locked-in syndrome, post-stroke. I am fully conscious and cognitively aware. I communicate through eye movements. I can hear and understand everything. Emergency contact. A phone number was crossed out, disconnected written beside it. There was more. A business card clipped to the communication card. Dr. Simone Thatcher, Chief of Neurosurgery, Mercy General Hospital. DeShawn's hands went numb, and it wasn't from the cold. Mercy General. The hospital where he worked security. The hospital where Maria had died. And this woman, this paralyzed woman someone had abandoned at a bus stop on Christmas Eve, was the chief of neurosurgery. Had been the chief. DeShawn knew this name. Everyone at Mercy knew Dr. Thatcher. She was a legend, brilliant surgeon, youngest department chief in the hospital's history, known for her skill and her fierce advocacy for patients that other doctors wrote off. Then about 18 months ago, she'd had a stroke. Massive, catastrophic. The rumors said she'd been moved to some long-term care facility. That her family had taken over her care and estate. Nobody had said she was still alive. Nobody had said she was conscious. And nobody had said her family would leave her to die at a bus stop. DeShawn looked at Dr. Thatcher, Simone, whose eyes were watching him with desperate intensity. Dr. Thatcher, I work at Mercy. Security, night shift. I know who you are. Everyone knows who you are. His voice was rough. I'm going to get you out of here. I'm going to get you somewhere safe, and then we're going to figure out what happened. Okay? 2 emphatic blinks. More tears. He looked at the wheelchair, at the twins sleeping against the shelter, at this woman who should have been surrounded by the best medical care in the city but was instead dying in the snow. This is going to be complicated, he muttered. But we're going to make it work. DeShawn had lifted patients before, knew the protocols for moving someone with paralysis. He checked Dr. Thatcher quickly. No visible injuries, no bleeding, breathing steady if shallow. Her coat was wet from the snow, her body temperature too low. How long had she been out here? He righted the wheelchair, locked the brakes, and positioned it next to her. Then carefully, mindful of her neck and spine, he lifted her. She was light, too light. Her body had the wasted feel of someone who'd lost muscle mass from months of immobility. He settled her into the wheelchair, secured the safety belt, wrapped his own jacket around her shoulders. She was shivering now, a good sign actually. It meant her body was still trying to regulate temperature. The twins were starting to stir. Maya opened her eyes, confused. Daddy? Where are we? Hey, baby girl. We're still at the bus stop. We missed the last bus, but it's okay. We're going to walk home. Marcus woke up, rubbing his eyes. He saw Dr. Thatcher in the wheelchair and his eyes went wide. Who's that? This is Dr. Thatcher. She needs our help. Someone left her out here in the cold, and we're going to take her home with us. Make sure she's okay. Is she sick? Maya asked, that child's directness that cut straight to the heart of things. Yes, baby. She's very sick. But she can hear us and understand us, so we need to be kind and gentle, okay? Both children nodded, suddenly serious with the gravity children have when they understand something is important. Can we talk to her? Marcus asked. Of course. She can't talk back, but she can blink to answer yes or no questions. 2 blinks means yes, 1 blink means no. Maya approached the wheelchair, looked at Dr. Thatcher with those big, curious 5-year-old eyes. "Hi, Dr. Thatcher. I'm Maya. Are you cold?" 2 blinks. "We're going to help you get warm," Maya said with the absolute certainty of childhood. "My daddy's really good at helping people. He helped me when I had nightmares, and he helped Marcus when he broke his arm, and he helps everybody." Something in Dr. Thatcher's eyes softened. 2 blinks, thank you. DeShawn gathered the twins, positioned himself behind the wheelchair, and started the long walk home. 4 miles through the cold December night, pushing a paralyzed woman, holding his children's hands, praying they'd make it safely. The first mile was the hardest. Marcus and Maya were tired, stumbling, asking to be carried. But DeShawn couldn't carry them and push the wheelchair. He kept them moving with promises of hot chocolate at home, with stories about the presents Santa would bring, with anything that would keep their little legs walking. Dr. Thatcher's eyes tracked everything: the children, the streets, DeShawn's face. He found himself talking to her as they walked, partly to stay alert in the cold, partly because her eyes were the kind that listened. "The twins are 5, he said. Their birthday was July 15th, same day their mama died. She had a brain aneurysm during delivery. Just gone. Didn't even get to hold them." Dr. Thatcher's eyes moved to the children, then back to him. Empathy, recognition of shared pain. "You got kids?" he asked. 1 blink. Married?" 1 blink. "Family?" Her eyes closed for a long moment, longer than a blink. When they opened again, they were full of a pain that went beyond the physical. "They're the ones who left you there," DeShawn said quietly. It wasn't a question. 2 blinks. Tears froze on her cheeks. By mile 2, Marcus was flagging badly. DeShawn picked him up, balanced him on one hip, pushed the wheelchair with the other hand. Maya walked beside them, singing Christmas carols in her high, sweet voice to keep everyone's spirits up. Jingle bells, jingle all the way." "Daddy, why is Dr. Thatcher crying?" DeShawn looked down. Dr. Thatcher's eyes were wet, tracking Maya's singing, her small dancing steps in the snow. "Because sometimes when people are very sad or very scared for a long time, hearing something beautiful makes them cry," DeShawn said. "It's okay to cry. It means she's feeling something good." "Oh." Maya processed this. "Then I'll keep singing." And she did, her voice carrying through the cold night air, a small bright sound against the darkness. Mile 3, and DeShawn's arms were shaking from effort. His shoulders screamed from carrying Marcus, from pushing the wheelchair through snow and over cracked pavement. His lungs burned from the cold air. But he kept moving because stopping meant giving up, and he'd learned after Maria died that you don't give up when people are depending on you. He talked to Dr. Thatcher to keep himself alert. Told her about the twins learning to read, about Maya's obsession with dinosaurs, about Marcus's careful, serious way of approaching the world. Told her about working night security, about the loneliness of those quiet hours, about the satisfaction of keeping people safe even if nobody noticed. "Your mama, Maria, she worked at Mercy too," he said. "Labor and delivery nurse. She talked about you sometimes. Said you were the only doctor who actually listened to the black mamas when they said something was wrong. Said you saved her friend's life during a complicated delivery." Dr. Thatcher's eyes widened. 2 blinks, she remembered. That friend, Keisha, she came to Maria's funeral. Told me Dr. Thatcher fought for 3 hours to save her baby when everyone else wanted to give up. Said her son's alive because of you. 2 blinks, but slower. Sadder. Dr. Thatcher couldn't save Maria, couldn't save herself, but she'd saved others. It meant something. By mile 4, DeShawn was running on pure stubborn will. The apartment building finally appeared, 5 stories of weathered brick, his home for the last 3 years. 3rd floor, no elevator. He looked at the stairs and almost laughed. Of course it couldn't be easy. But then Mrs. Chin from apartment 2B came out with her trash. She was a tiny Chinese woman in her 70s who'd immigrated 40 years ago and still struggled with English. But she took one look at DeShawn with the sleeping Marcus, the exhausted Maya, the woman in the wheelchair, and immediately started directing traffic. "You carry boy. I help with lady. We get everyone inside. Mrs. Chen, it's late, you don't have to. What kind of person I am, leaving you in cold on Christmas? We help. You take boy, I push chair. Girl can walk. We go now. Between them, they got Dr. Thatcher up 3 flights of stairs, the wheelchair bumping on each step, DeShawn and Mrs. Chen lifting carefully. The twins trudged behind, too tired even to complain. DeShawn's apartment was small, 2 bedrooms, worn furniture, walls covered with the twins' artwork and photos of Maria. But it was warm, clean, and safe. He got the twins straight to bed, barely getting their coats off before they were asleep again. Then he turned his attention to Dr. Thatcher. She sat in the wheelchair in his living room, looking completely out of place in her expensive coat and designer shoes amid his thrift store furniture and hand-me-down decorations. But her eyes were alert, taking in everything: the small Christmas tree with its handmade ornaments, the stockings Mrs. Chen had secretly filled with candy, the photos of Maria on the walls. Okay, DeShawn said, exhausted but determined. First things first. You're freezing, probably dehydrated, definitely need medication. I'm going to get you warmed up, comfortable, and then we're going to figure out what to do. He checked her purse again, found the prescription bottles. Blood thinners, muscle relaxants, anti-spasm medication. The labels showed they should have been refilled 2 weeks ago. When's the last time you got your medication? He asked. Dr. Thatcher's eyes moved, not blinking, but a complicated expression he couldn't read. More than a week? 2 blinks. More than 2 weeks? 2 blinks. Jesus. DeShawn ran his hand over his face. I can't give you medication without knowing for sure what you need, but I can get you warm, get some fluids in you if possible. And today, I guess, it's after midnight, we're going to the hospital. 1 blink. Emphatic. You don't want to go to the hospital? 1 blink. Why not? Dr. Thatcher's eyes moved frantically to her purse. DeShawn dug through it more carefully this time, found what he'd missed before, a sealed envelope tucked into an inner pocket. It was addressed, "To whoever finds me," in shaky handwriting. His hands trembled as he opened it. "To whoever finds me. If you're reading this, it means I've been abandoned somewhere and you cared enough to help. Thank you. You saved my life. My name is Dr. Simone Thatcher. 18 months ago, I had a massive brainstem stroke while performing surgery. I have locked-in syndrome. I am completely paralyzed except for my eyes, but I am fully conscious, fully aware, cognitively intact. I can hear, understand, and communicate through eye movements. After my stroke, my younger sister Patricia Thatcher was granted conservatorship over my medical care and estate. For the first 9 months, she visited regularly. The care was adequate. I had hope for rehabilitation, for adapted communication technology, for a life. Then things changed. Patricia's visits became less frequent. The staff at Green Hill Manor, the facility where she placed me, became more neglectful. My communication board went missing. Medications were skipped. I was left in uncomfortable positions for hours. I overheard conversations I wasn't meant to hear, staff talking about how I'd probably be better off if I just let go. About how much easier it would be for everyone. I realized my sister was waiting for me to die. 3 months ago, I managed to get the attention of a nurse who listened. She helped me write this letter with my non-dominant hand. I have minimal movement in my left hand, enough to poorly grip a pen. She helped me gather evidence. Then she was fired and I lost my only ally. Tonight, Christmas Eve, Patricia told the staff she was taking me to a special family celebration. Instead, she drove me to that bus stop and left me there. She parked the wheelchair, tipped it over, threw my purse in the snow, and drove away. Before she left, she leaned down and whispered, "Nobody will believe a brain-damaged woman. They'll think you wandered off, got confused. By morning, hypothermia will finish what the stroke started. And I'll finally be free." She's going to inherit everything. My house, my investments, my life insurance. Over $3 million. And all she has to do is wait for me to freeze to death. But you found me. You stopped. You cared. There's a safe deposit box at First National Bank, box 447. The key is sewn into the lining of my purse. There's a small tear in the silk interior pocket. Inside the box are documents. My original will, evidence of Patricia's financial fraud, proof of her embezzlement, medical records showing I'm cognitively intact. I need help. Legal help, medical help, someone to believe that I'm still a person worth saving. If you're reading this, you already believe that. Thank you. Please help me fight back. Please help me reclaim my voice. Dr. Simone Thatcher. P.S. There's also a communication board in my purse, alphabet letters. Point to them and I'll blink when you hit the right letter. It's slow, but it works. Please talk to me. Please let me talk to you. DeShawn read the letter 3 times. Then he looked at Dr. Thatcher, who was watching him with an intensity that burned. His hands were shaking. Not from cold anymore, but from rage. Your sister tried to murder you. 2 blinks. She's been stealing from you. 2 blinks. And you want to fight back. 2 emphatic blinks, fierce determination in her eyes. DeShawn set the letter down carefully. The twins were asleep in their room, the Christmas tree lights blinked softly, and outside the window snow was falling on the city where a woman's family had left her to die because money mattered more than a human life. He was a night security guard making $16.50 an hour. He had $23 in his pocket and 2 small children depending on him. He lived paycheck to paycheck in a 3rd-floor walk-up and could barely afford groceries. He had absolutely no business getting involved in what sounded like a legal nightmare involving attempted murder, estate fraud, and a multi-million-dollar inheritance dispute. But when he looked at Dr. Thatcher's eyes, fully conscious, fully aware, trapped in a body that wouldn't respond, fighting with everything she had left, he saw something he recognized. Someone who'd been broken by circumstances they couldn't control. Someone who refused to surrender. Someone who deserved better than what life had given them. Just like him after Maria died. Just like his twins, learning to live without their mother. Just like everyone who'd ever been knocked down and had to decide whether to stay down or get back up. Okay, DeShawn said quietly. Here's what we're going to do. First, I'm going to take care of you, get you warm, comfortable, safe. Then tomorrow, we're going to that bank and getting those documents. And then we're going to find you a lawyer who'll fight like hell. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. Dr. Thatcher's eyes filled with tears. But right now, you need rest and so do I. So I'm going to get you settled, and in the morning we'll figure out the next steps. Deal? 2 blinks. DeShawn spent the next hour doing what 5 years of single fatherhood and his old Navy medic training had taught him. He found the communication board in her purse, a laminated sheet with alphabet letters. He helped her spell out her immediate needs: bathroom, water, repositioning to prevent pressure sores. He improvised. His apartment wasn't set up for someone with paralysis, but he made it work. Used pillows to position her comfortably on the couch. Found a straw for water. Helped her with basic care, maintaining her dignity as much as possible. Through it all, Dr. Thatcher communicated slowly with the letterboard. It was painstaking. He'd point to letters, she'd blink when he hit the right one, they'd spell out words 1 letter at a time. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. We've got a fight ahead of us. Why help? Because someone left you like trash, and that's not okay. DeShawn sat back, exhausted. And because my wife Maria talked about you. Said you were the doctor who actually listened to black women. Who fought for them when everyone else dismissed their pain. You tried to save people like her. Dr. Thatcher's eyes widened with recognition. She died anyway, DeShawn continued, his voice rough. Brain aneurysm during delivery. But you tried to change the protocols, tried to make it better for the women who came after. That matters. Could not save her. Wasn't your fault. Medical system failed her, failed a lot of women who look like us. But you tried to fix it. He paused. And Maria would want me to help you. She believed in paying kindness forward. Slowly, letter by painful letter, Dr. Thatcher spelled, "Your wife lucky man." DeShawn's throat tightened. I was the lucky one. He settled her for the night, made sure she was as comfortable as possible, then collapsed on the pull-out bed where he slept. His mind raced with impossible logistics. How to help her, how to afford a lawyer, how to keep his job while dealing with this, how to protect his kids from whatever legal battle was coming. But exhaustion won. He fell asleep thinking about Maria, about the twins, about a woman trapped in her own body who refused to give up. Christmas morning arrived with weak winter sunlight. The twins woke up early, excited about Christmas, then remembered the lady in the living room and tiptoed out to check on her. Dr. Thatcher was already awake, her eyes alert. Marcus and Maya approached the wheelchair with the cautious curiosity of children encountering something new. "Hi, Dr. Thatcher," Maya whispered. "Merry Christmas." 2 blinks. "Hello, Merry Christmas." "Santa came," Marcus announced. "Want to see our presents?" Dr. Thatcher's eyes moved to DeShawn, who'd followed the twins out. He nodded permission. For the next hour, the twins performed an elaborate show of their modest Christmas haul. Mrs. Chen had indeed filled their stockings with candy and small toys. There were also presents DeShawn had carefully budgeted for over months. New books, art supplies, a small science kit Maya had been wanting. The children showed Dr. Thatcher everything with the earnest enthusiasm of 5-year-olds sharing treasure. Maya demonstrated her new jump rope, nearly knocking over the Christmas tree. Marcus showed off every single colored pencil in his new set, explaining what he would draw with each color. Dr. Thatcher watched them with an expression DeShawn was learning to read, joy mixed with profound sadness. Here was a woman who'd dedicated her entire life to medicine, who'd never had children, watching these 2 beautiful kids celebrate Christmas in a cramped apartment and seeing something precious she'd never experienced. After breakfast, cereal for the twins, a nutritional supplement DeShawn carefully administered to Dr. Thatcher through a straw. He made a decision. "Maya, Marcus, come here. We need to have a serious talk." The twins climbed onto the couch beside him, their faces solemn. They knew that tone. "Dr. Thatcher is going to stay with us for a little while. Maybe a few days, maybe longer. She needs our help because some bad people hurt her." "Who hurt her?" Maya's face scrunched with anger. Even at 5, she had a fierce sense of justice. Her family. They were supposed to take care of her, but instead they did something very wrong. They left her outside in the cold on Christmas Eve. "That's mean," Marcus said. "Why would they do that?" DeShawn struggled with how to explain greed and cruelty to 5-year-olds. Sometimes grown-ups make bad choices because they want things more than they love people. Dr. Thatcher's sister wanted money more than she loved her sister. "But family's supposed to love you," Maya said, confused. "Yes, baby. Family's supposed to love you. But sometimes they don't. And when that happens, other people have to step up and be family instead." "Like us?" Marcus asked. "Exactly like us. We're going to be Dr. Thatcher's family for now. We're going to keep her safe and help her fight the bad people. Can you do that?" Both children nodded solemnly. "This is serious, though. We need to be very careful. Dr. Thatcher's sister might be looking for her, and we can't tell anyone she's here until we figure out how to keep her safe. Can you keep a secret? Like a superhero's secret identity?" Maya's eyes went wide. DeShawn smiled despite everything. "Exactly like that. We're going to be Dr. Thatcher's secret protectors." "Cool," both twins said in unison. Dr. Thatcher's eyes were wet with tears. Through the communication board, she slowly spelled, "Beautiful children." "Yeah," DeShawn said softly. "They're pretty great. Their mama would have loved them so much." "She does." The words hit DeShawn hard. He'd never been particularly religious, but the idea that Maria was somehow still there, still loving them, it was a comfort he hadn't expected. The next challenge, the safe deposit box. DeShawn found the key exactly where Dr. Thatcher's letter said it would be, sewn into the lining of her purse. But getting to the bank meant leaving the twins, and he didn't want to take Dr. Thatcher out in public until he understood what they were dealing with. Mrs. Chen solved that problem. She knocked on his door around noon with a container of dumplings and a knowing look. "You need help," she said. It wasn't a question. "Mrs. Chen, I can't ask you to." "Not asking. Telling. You helped me when my husband's sick. When I have no money for medicine you paid. Remember?" DeShawn remembered. 3 months ago, Mr. Chin had needed heart medication they couldn't afford. DeShawn had quietly paid for it, money he couldn't really spare but gave anyway because it was the right thing to do. "You watch my children, I watch yours," Mrs. Chin continued. "Is how it works. I watched twins today. You help Dr. Lady. Go." An hour later, DeShawn was driving Dr. Thatcher to First National Bank in his 15-year-old Honda Civic that wheezed and rattled but still ran. Getting her wheelchair in and out of the car was a production. His car wasn't designed for accessibility, and he had to improvise. At the bank, the security guard eyed them suspiciously. A black man in worn jeans and a work jacket, pushing a paralyzed woman in a wheelchair, asking to access a safe deposit box on Christmas Day when the bank was technically closed but open for limited emergency services. The manager, a middle-aged white man named Gordon Peterson, looked even more skeptical when DeShawn presented Dr. Thatcher's ID and the key. "Sir, I'm going to need more verification. How do I know you have authorization to access Dr. Thatcher's property?" "She's right here. Ask her yourself." Gordon looked uncomfortable. "Sir, she can't speak. She can answer yes or no questions. 2 blinks for yes, 1 for no." "Dr. Thatcher, is this your safe deposit box key?" 2 clear blinks. "Do you authorize me, DeShawn Carter, to access this box on your behalf?" 2 emphatic blinks. Gordon shifted his weight. "Sir, I don't think eye blinks constitute legal. What would constitute legal consent?" DeShawn's voice hardened. "She's communicating clearly. She's answering questions. You're denying her access to her own property because she's paralyzed? That's discrimination under the Americans with Disabilities Act." DeShawn didn't actually know if that was true. He'd Googled ADA laws on his phone in the parking lot, but it sounded authoritative. Gordon's face reddened. "Let me call my supervisor." 20 minutes of increasingly uncomfortable waiting later, they were granted access. Gordon escorted them personally to the vault, clearly wanting the situation resolved and out of his bank. Inside box 447, a thick manila envelope, a USB drive, and a smaller envelope labeled "Last Will and Testament, Original." Back in the car, DeShawn opened the large envelope. Inside were bank statements, property deeds, investment records, and a stack of printed emails that made his blood run cold. Bank statements showed systematic withdrawals from Dr. Thatcher's accounts. $50,000 here, $75,000 there, always just under the reporting threshold that would trigger automatic review. Over 18 months, Patricia had siphoned off nearly $800,000. Property records showed Dr. Thatcher's house, a beautiful craftsman worth $850,000 according to the appraisal, sold 3 months ago. The proceeds went to an account in Patricia's name. Investment statements showed liquidated portfolios, cashed-out retirement accounts, all transferred to Patricia. The emails were the most damning. Patricia to her lawyer, "How long can someone with locked-in syndrome realistically survive? What happens to the estate if she passes before all the transfers are complete?" Patricia to the Green Hill Manor administrator, "I need you to reduce her care level. She doesn't need the expensive communication equipment. She's not going to get better. Basic maintenance is fine." Patricia to someone named David, "It's been 18 months. I thought she'd be gone by now. The doctors said 6 months maximum. I can't wait forever." DeShawn's hands shook with rage. Dr. Thatcher watched him read, her eyes full of pain but also fierce determination. "She's been planning this for months," he said. "Stealing from you, waiting for you to die, setting it up so she inherits everything." Through the communication board, Dr. Thatcher spelled, "Tried to speed it up. By leaving you at that bus stop to freeze. 2 blinks. We need a lawyer. A really good one. And I have no idea how to afford that." Dr. Thatcher's eyes moved frantically. She spelled, "Martinez." "Who?" "Dear Rafael Martinez, Mercy Cardiology, his wife Rachel, lawyer." DeShawn's exhausted brain made the connection. Dr. Martinez was one of the cardiologists at Mercy, a good man who always treated security staff like actual people. He'd heard Maria's name mentioned once. Martinez's wife had helped one of Maria's co-workers with a discrimination case. "You think his wife would take your case?" "Helped Maria friend's civil rights. It's worth a try." DeShawn pulled out his phone. I've got Dr. Martinez's number from the hospital directory. At 3:47 p.m. on Christmas Day, DeShawn sent a text that felt insane. Dr. Martinez, this is DeShawn Carter from security. I need to talk to you urgently about Dr. Simone Thatcher. I know this sounds crazy, but please call me. The response came 5 minutes later. Simone Thatcher? The neurosurgeon? DeShawn, what's going on? Calling you now. The phone rang. DeShawn answered. Dr. Martinez? Thank you for calling back. I know this is going to sound unbelievable, but I found Dr. Thatcher abandoned at a bus stop last night. Her sister left her there to die. I have her with me now, and we have evidence of fraud and attempted murder. We need legal help. There was a long silence. Then, where are you? My apartment. She's safe, but... Stay there. Rachel and I are coming to you. Don't talk to anyone else. Don't post anything online. We're leaving now. An hour later, Dr. Rafael Martinez and his wife Rachel arrived at DeShawn's apartment. Rachel Martinez was a black woman in her 40s, tall and commanding with natural locks and sharp eyes that took in everything. She went straight to Dr. Thatcher. Dr. Thatcher, I'm Rachel Martinez. I'm a civil rights attorney specializing in medical conservatorship abuse and disability rights. I need to ask you some questions. 2 blinks for yes, 1 for no. Do you understand? 2 blinks. Did your sister Patricia abandon you at that bus stop intending for you to die? 2 blinks. Tears. Has she been stealing from your estate? 2 blinks. Are you cognitively intact and capable of making your own decisions? 2 emphatic blinks. Do you want legal representation to fight her conservatorship and press criminal charges? 2 fierce, determined blinks. Rachel stood, her expression set. This is one of the clearest cases of conservatorship abuse I've ever seen. Simone, I'm taking your case. Pro bono. And we're going to destroy your sister in court. Over the next 2 hours, Rachel reviewed all the evidence. The letter, the bank documents, the emails, the property records. Her husband Rafael examined Dr. Thatcher medically, confirming she was alert, aware, and had clearly been neglected. This is attempted murder, Rachel said flatly, and massive financial fraud. Patricia's going to prison. But first we need to get Simone out of her conservatorship, Rafael added. Which means proving she's competent to make her own decisions. That won't be hard, Rachel said. She's clearly communicating, clearly aware. We'll get independent neurologists to evaluate her. But DeShawn, you need to understand, this is going to get ugly. Patricia will fight back. She'll claim you kidnapped Simone, that you're manipulating her, that she's confused. Are you prepared for that? DeShawn looked at Dr. Thatcher, at his small apartment, at the photos of Maria on the walls. 5 years ago, my wife died and left me with 2 newborn babies. I had no idea how to be a father, no idea how to survive. But I did it because giving up wasn't an option. He met Rachel's eyes. This is the same thing. Giving up on Dr. Thatcher isn't an option. So yeah, I'm prepared. Rachel smiled. But, because we're going to need that stubbornness. The next week moved like a tornado. Rachel filed emergency motions to remove Patricia as conservator, citing evidence of financial fraud and attempted murder. She requested immediate independent medical evaluation of Dr. Thatcher's cognitive abilities. Patricia struck back viciously. She filed countermotions claiming DeShawn had kidnapped her sister. She produced affidavits from Greenhill Manor staff saying Dr. Thatcher was non-responsive and unable to make decisions. She hired a high-powered law firm that immediately began character assassinations. The media caught wind of the story. By day 3, news vans were parked outside DeShawn's building. Security guard harbors missing doctor, locked-in patient at center of million-dollar estate battle, family versus stranger. Who has right to decide? DeShawn had to sneak the twins out the back entrance to avoid reporters. Mrs. Chen stood guard at the front door, yelling in Mandarin at journalists who tried to enter the building. His supervisor at the hospital called. DeShawn, we're getting calls from administration. They want to know why you're involved in this. I found her abandoned. I helped her. That's what you're supposed to do. I understand, but this is becoming a distraction. I'm giving you 2 weeks personal leave. Unpaid. Sort this out. 2 weeks without pay meant 2 weeks without income. DeShawn's minimal savings would cover maybe 10 days of basic expenses. After that, he'd be choosing between rent and food. That night, Dr. Thatcher spelled out through the board, "Sorry ruining your life. You're not ruining anything. Your sister did this, not you. You losing job money. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together." The competency hearing was scheduled for January 10th. Rachel spent every spare moment preparing, gathering affidavits from Dr. Thatcher's former colleagues, arranging for independent neurological evaluations. 3 different neurologists examined Dr. Thatcher over the course of a week. All 3 reached the same conclusion: fully conscious, fully aware, cognitively intact, capable of making informed decisions. Locked-in syndrome had not affected her mind, only her body. The twins adapted to having Dr. Thatcher in their home with remarkable ease. Maya started reading her picture books to Dr. Moan, her own special nickname. Marcus would carefully show her his drawings, explaining each one. One evening, Maya climbed into DeShawn's lap. "Daddy, is Dr. Moan going to stay with us forever?" "I don't know, baby. We're trying to help her get her own place, her own life back. But I like her here. She makes you smile more." DeShawn realized it was true. Despite the stress, despite the legal battles and financial pressure, he'd been smiling more. The twins loved having Dr. Thatcher there. And DeShawn had found unexpected purpose in helping her, a mission that mattered beyond just survival. The night before the hearing, DeShawn couldn't sleep. He sat with Dr. Thatcher in the quiet apartment, both awake while the twins slept. "Tomorrow changes everything," he said. "Either we win and you get your life back, or—" He couldn't finish. Dr. Thatcher spelled slowly, "Already won." "How?" "You saw me, gave me hope. No matter what happens tomorrow, you saved my life. We haven't finished saving it yet. Then let's finish together." January 10th dawned cold and clear. The courtroom was packed. Former colleagues from Mercy filled the gallery: surgeons, nurses, residents who'd trained under Dr. Thatcher. They'd come to support their former chief. Patricia sat at the plaintiff's table in an expensive suit, perfectly composed. When she saw Dr. Thatcher wheeled in, something flickered in her eyes. Judge Morrison, a black woman in her 60s, called proceedings to order. Patricia's attorney painted DeShawn as an opportunist. "Your Honor, my client's sister was taken from a licensed care facility by a man she'd never met. A security guard with no medical training, no legal authority. He's keeping her in a 3rd-floor walk-up with no proper medical equipment, using her for publicity." Objection. Rachel stood. Mr. DeShawn Carter found Dr. Thatcher abandoned at a bus stop on Christmas Eve. He saved her life. And the only publicity has come from Ms. Patricia Thatcher's attempts to smear his character. The judge raised her hand. "I've reviewed the preliminary evidence. Let's hear from Dr. Thatcher herself." A hush fell over the courtroom. Rachel wheeled Dr. Thatcher to the front. She'd set up a large screen that would display Dr. Thatcher's communication. A camera tracked her eye movements, translating them to text on screen. It was slow, painstakingly slow, but unmistakably clear. "My name is Simone Thatcher. I am fully conscious and aware. My sister Patricia abandoned me at a bus stop to die. She stole from my estate. She reduced my medical care. She wanted me dead. DeShawn Carter saved my life. He and his children gave me hope. I am not confused. I am not incompetent. I am locked in my body, but my mind is clear. I want my life back. I want justice." The courtroom was silent. Then one of the surgeons in the gallery stood and began clapping. Others joined. Within seconds, the entire gallery was on their feet, applauding. Judge Morrison banged her gavel. "Order! Order in the court." But she was smiling. Patricia's face had gone pale. The judge reviewed the medical evaluations, the financial records, the evidence of fraud. She questioned Patricia directly about the missing funds, the property sale, the reduction in care. Patricia stumbled through answers that didn't hold up under scrutiny. Finally, Judge Morrison made her ruling. "I'm removing Patricia Thatcher as conservator immediately." I'm appointing a professional fiduciary pending full investigation of the financial irregularities. And I'm referring this case to the district attorney's office for potential criminal charges. She looked at Dr. Thatcher. Dr. Thatcher, you've shown remarkable courage. You have the right to determine your own care and your own future. I'm granting you full decision-making authority over your medical care and estate. Then the judge turned to DeShawn. Mr. Carter, what you did, stopping for a stranger, opening your home, fighting for someone who couldn't fight for herself, that's the kind of compassion this world needs more of. Thank you. DeShawn felt tears burning his eyes. I just did what anyone should have done. But most people wouldn't have. That's what makes it extraordinary. The Maria Santos Carter Foundation for Locked-In Syndrome Awareness and Maternal Health occupied a bright, accessible office downtown. Dr. Simone Thatcher served as medical director, consulting on complex neurology cases using adapted technology that tracked her eye movements. She couldn't perform surgery, but her brilliant mind was still saving lives. DeShawn ran the patient advocacy division, helping families navigate medical crises and conservatorship issues. His salary was $65,000 a year, more money than he'd ever imagined making. The twins had started first grade at a good school. Patricia was serving 8 years for fraud, embezzlement, and attempted murder. The money she'd stolen had been recovered and invested in the foundation. But more than the money or the justice, what mattered was the work. They'd helped 43 families so far, people with locked-in syndrome who needed proper care, single parents facing medical crises, families being exploited by conservators. On Christmas Eve, 1 year after the night DeShawn found Dr. Thatcher at that bus stop, they held a celebration at the foundation office. Former Mercy staff came. Families they'd helped. Mrs. Chen, who'd become the twins' honorary grandmother. Dr. Martinez and Rachel, who'd fought so fiercely. Maya and Marcus performed a Christmas show they'd been practicing for weeks, complete with songs and homemade costumes. Dr. Thatcher watched from her adapted wheelchair, her eye-tracking computer letting her laugh and applaud through programmed responses. After the kids finished and the party wound down, DeShawn and Dr. Thatcher sat together in the quiet office. Outside, snow was falling just like that night a year ago. You know what I've been thinking about? DeShawn said. That night, I almost didn't stop. I was so tired, so focused on getting the kids home. I almost walked right past that bus stop. Dr. Thatcher's computer voice spoke her typed response. But you didn't. No, I didn't. And everything changed because of that one choice. You changed my life. Gave me back my voice, my purpose. How do I repay that? You don't. You pay it forward. DeShawn smiled. That's what Maria taught me. We help each other. We pass it on. Dr. Thatcher typed. The foundation is my way of paying forward. But I want to do something else. For you and the twins. Dr. Thatcher, Simone, you've already done so much. Let me finish. Her eyes were smiling. I'm establishing a scholarship fund in Maria's name. For nursing students who want to specialize in maternal health. And I'm setting up education trusts for Marcus and Maya. Full ride to any college they want. DeShawn felt his throat close. That's too much. It's not enough. You gave me my life when you had every reason to keep walking. You fought for me when you had nothing to gain and everything to lose. This is just evening the scales. The scales were already even. You're my friend, Simone. That's worth more than money. Then accept the gift as one friend to another. Please. DeShawn looked at the photo on his desk, him, the twins, and Dr. Thatcher at the foundation's opening. An impossible family formed from tragedy and compassion. Okay, he said finally. Thank you. Thank you, DeShawn. For stopping. For seeing me. For refusing to give up. Through the window, snow continued falling. DeShawn thought about that night, freezing cold, exhausted, broke, standing at a bus stop with 2 sleeping children. The moment when he could have walked past suffering or stopped for it. The choice that changed everything. Not just for Dr. Thatcher, but for him too. She'd given him purpose beyond survival, shown him that his compassion mattered, that one person stopping could ripple outward in ways he'd never imagined. The twins ran over, excited about leftover Christmas cookies. They climbed onto DeShawn's lap, sticky fingers and bright smiles, and waved at Dr. Thatcher. "Merry Christmas, Dr. Moan," they sang in unison. Her computer voice responded, "Merry Christmas, my darlings." DeShawn hugged his children and smiled at his friend. Outside, the city moved on, unaware of the small miracle that had happened at a bus stop 1 year ago. But they knew. They'd carry it with them always, the knowledge that compassion mattered, that stopping for strangers could change lives, that family was built not just by blood but by choice and courage and refusing to look away from suffering. That was the truth that had frozen DeShawn that night. Not the horror of what had been done to Simone, but the realization that he had a choice, to walk past or to stop. And the choice he made saved them both. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you love this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.